We have to accomplish what the most I ordained. Oh, the more we are sent, we're not to see, but the more we're not to do.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Reggae Storm Radio. What a beautiful Monday. This is DJ Kambooster. Welcome one and all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is definitely a great evening to be on Reggae Storm because we have such a great discussion that's about to take place right here on Reggae Storm Radio. So I just want to say, everyone, just welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are watching on Facebook or Instagram, welcome. Just share the live. You definitely don't want anyone to miss it. If you're listening on the radio, this is the Rise Now or Never Rastafarian Unification panel discussion. This is something that you definitely don't want to miss. So get yourself comfortable and ready for this evening's great show. We have a list of panelists who will be joining us in a bit momentarily, so you definitely do not want to miss this discussion. Blessings and more love to everyone who's locked into Reggae Storm Radio and to my Facebook and Instagram peeps. Good evening. This one is called Reality Checker. Errol Highway, pick up the song. Champion Warrior on this one. Reality. Hope you all are ready for this discussion this evening. Getting ready for the rest of our panelists from South Africa, from the United Kingdom, from Germany, who will be joining us momentarily. All right.
You wanna know? This a beautiful house of Rasta. Really wanna know? This a beautiful house of Rasta. You never reach you, and I'm waiting for you. Before the inspection, it is getting weaker. 1938, we couldn't see much clearer. That's why the house bring back black people to Africa. Provide them food, clothes and shelter, and feed them sheep and duck. Search your time, search your veranda. Here is no other man, so one another. Oh, treasure.
Written and produced by Errol Harvey. I love this one.
You wanna know? This a beautiful house of Rasta.
everybody's doing well. Sister Moy, how you doing? Sean, how you doing? Carrie Ann, how you doing? Vincent Anderson over there on Facebook, how you doing? All my Facebook peeps, hope you're all doing well. Instagram, how you doing? If you're locked into Reggae Storm Radio, you're at the right place. Make sure you don't move the dial, alright? Because we have a really great discussion that's about to begin. And we have a list of panelists who will be joining us momentarily. King Tom, what you doing? Listen.
You wanna know? This a beautiful house of Rasta. You really wanna know? This a beautiful house of Rasta. You need a religion and a run for you. Before the house gets stronger, it is getting weaker. 1938, we couldn't see much clearer. That body house you bring back black people to Africa.
White fun.
You was in the shelter, and feeling sheep and butler. Search out Harlem, search out Orlando.
I love this one.
You wanna know? It's a beautiful house of Rasta. You really wanna know? It's a beautiful house of Rasta, of Rasta.
You're logged into Reggae Storm Radio. This is DJ Kambooster. And it is a great evening to be here, to be alive, to be healthy, to be well. And I have, the joy and privilege to be the moderator of such a great discussion this evening. And I want to say welcome to everybody who is locked in right now. Whether you're watching on Facebook on Kambooster Several Figures fan page, on Instagram on Kambooster_productions page, or if you are listening on ReggaeStormRadio.com, I just want to say welcome our listeners. And this is the Rise Now or Never Rastafarian panel discussion. All right, I am your moderator, of course, DJ Kambooster, and it is definitely a pleasure to be hosting such a great event. And I just want to say welcome. And for those who are listening for the first time, if you do not know, I am Camille Palmer. Most of you know me as Kambooster. I am definitely a radio personality. I'm a DJ. I'm also a host. I am the CEO of Kambooster Several Figures Production. I'm an advocate for unification and promotion of reggae music and to a wider extent positive music across the world. Now there are four members of the panel this evening who will definitely be joining us in a bit, so you definitely do not want to move the dial. All right, they will be representing different houses of Rastafarian, and it's with great pleasure to introduce each member to my listeners. All right, so the Deputy Chairman for the Jamaica Diaspora Organization of Southern and Eastern Africa, also the advisor for the Rastafari Continental Council, also former member of the 12 tribes in the early 70s from UK, is the Elder Jabulani. He is actually in South Africa, and he is one of our panelists tonight. Next, we have the second member of our panel is a reggae artist living in the UK, representing the Bobo Shanti House, Ras Charma. So Ras Charma is the second panelist tonight, and our third panelist representing the House of the Nyabingi, educator at the London Borough of Islington, United Kingdom, Ras Jimmy Lyons. He's with us tonight. And last but by no means least, we have Mr. Errol Harvey. You know, he is the CEO and founder of the NGO, the Center of Jamaican Cultural and Development, GUG. And Errol Harvey is definitely in Germany. So it is with great pleasure having all four panelists along with myself on this brilliant Monday evening with this great discussion that we are about to begin. So gentlemen, welcome to Reggae Storm Radio. How are you doing?
Bless up, Sister Kambooster. Give thanks.
Wonderful.
Blessings.
Thank you so much. Welcome to Reggae.
Emerging things.
Wonderful. It's such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to have you all on with me this evening, this Monday evening, in front of the whole world who is actually listening all over the world. People from all over the world is logged into Reggae Storm Radio, because this is definitely a discussion that is up of great importance, and we definitely want to kick it off this evening. If you're watching on Facebook or on Instagram, welcome. You're also part of this lovely discussion that we are having. You can always type your questions if there's anything that you will definitely like to say. All right, well, do we have everybody on the line right now? Do we have Elder Jabulani on the line? I think he has not come on as yet, so let's give him a couple minutes to come on. Also, everybody else, just welcome. Now, let's just start off. Since Elder Jabulani is not on, let's start with Ras Sharma in the UK. Now, Ras Sharma, I did give a brief introduction to our listeners. Well, go ahead without any further ado and just give a brief introduction to our listeners of who Ras Sharma is and what you represent.
Yeah, Ras Sharma is a Jamaican African descent from a down in Jamaica, and growing up, music has been a part of my life, you know. My father was a pastor, my mother a teacher, so growing up in our church with the music as I grew and developed youthful days when we were in high school, the introduction of blazing the herbs and the healing of the nation, bring it to myself, you know. And within ourselves, questioning that we are from multi within that company, that spirit that when you reason with creator in answer, and it grew. So after leaving school, I find Rastafarian.
Yes.
Went through Rastafarian assignment, and within school we started going up a year, and I was working, and I saw visions, I always saw signs towards my life, who I am, which I accept, and the passage of life, finding Rastafari. These signs lead me to the multi within myself, and when I start seeing Rastafari, you know, vision being up together the 23rd of July, we start just around 17 after I leave high school, and go 3 different high school, living in 3 different locations. Growing up in St. Thomas, my aunt being a father, pastor a church in St. Thomas, Christ Scotland. Moved from Church Corner to Prospect, which is where I was by the sea. And within I go and create a teach now to students, as I always spend company by myself by the sea, and learn a lot of hidden things within through the powers of Father Time and Creator, Mother Nature. So when I accept Rastafari, I went to Beverly. When I went Beverly, that was the 23rd of July, being around 17. The powers that I saw there, it attracted me. I was interested in such liberty and such love which I build and the whole salvation order, the narrative, the chant, in the gemstone, you know, bringing I within the spirit, pouring into Africa, in Jamaica, finding the fullness of the Bible. When I read it, it manifests in the earth, because like in the church, certain things which they say never really resonate in an eye, like the Holy Ghost and certain things, when you know, say Papa and Mama, and I'm here, and they say, when in the church, certain things within religion, through spirituality, finding Creator in myself, even going to bed, it starts opening my eyes to certain awareness of truth, and accepting it and holding the Sabbath. And 2 years after that, going bed in and out, doing the music, developing myself, and the crown within a vision, on the 23rd of July, by a priest, who within such time I went to Switzerland after, he went to Ethiopia, and it's so mystical and truthful and real in my life, within my testimony. So, growing within the faith of Rastafari, I was through His Imperial Majesty, not really through the music, but through finding the thing within myself and accepting the thing, and the thing showed me to the Father, showed me to Him from
the high priest, Melchizedek, and Melchizedek showed me to the prophet, Marcus Garvey, the black liberator, the visionary. Even November the 2nd, which was Friday, it showed that the coronation where Rastafari got the name Haile Selassie, which is prayer of the Holy Trinity, which is unification in all its fullness, 1 in 3 and 3 in 1, Father, Mother, Child, Sun, Moon, Star, King, Prophet, Queens, each year, what? That's it. As I went to my school, 3 different high school, and finding Rastafari within himself, in such acceptance, it is the foundation of my life. So even after getting crowned at Bobble, I traveled to Switzerland, white man father in Jamaica doing the music. That plate is a form of earning, which the sound system of them really, man. We do have the sound system and deliver songs and we get paid. And they play it in the dance abroad, and through that runs. I was with a label at the time, and I did a mama song, and Norris, man, my next Rasta brother, we did Love and Unity. He invited me on a show in Newbury. And I went on the show and performed well, and I started at the right brother. And he loved my vibration. I did some more God, and then when my other Rasta brother gets some, eat some food. And this is how we live in Jamaica. We share the thing, and we get the opportunity forward. We do the community, we share it amongst each other. Through the struggle, so through that way, definitely, white man love the vibes, the studio and mash up, he invite me to Switzerland. And 2000, a performance thing, which I was around for producers in Jamaica, and then independently, 2001, I get bookings in Switzerland, and took the opportunity. And from there, it's history, they invite me 2002 for 3 months, and so, things that I was living there and start life doing the music, did an album, the album being to South Africa. So in my life, even in Rastafari, when I was, they say I wouldn't turn out to be nothing. I remember they saying, the system, they really accept Rasta man, I get my job with relax. And when I meet and that, but Rastafari, here in the king, living this liberty up to now, let me cover the world, even Mother Africa, so really and truly what they say can never happen. I see the Creator, the God and King, which I praise, Almighty Father, make everything happen within our lives. So glory be unto the Most High, I really give thanks for it. It's just a little snippings of my journey, and the journey, finding Rastafari, with the music, sharing love, justice and equality, delivering the truth, and living upright. We're not perfect, but to emulate His Majesty, His full liberty, feet up with His Queen, with Royal one time, the feet up with Mama Earth, and we're living it up, and it's just lovely, and Rastafari bring us together now at this moment in time within the reason of the unification, so we do give thanks.
Really give thanks. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that, Ras Charma. Great introduction right there. Now we're going to head over to Ras Jimmy Lyons, who is a member of the Nyabingi House. Now, Ras Jimmy is actually located in the United Kingdom. Welcome to Reggae Storm Radio. Ras Jimmy, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, DJ Kambooster. Greetings and love, brothers and sisters, worldwide family. Greetings and love to my co-panelists as well. I'd like to, first of all, give thanks in the honorable name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie, and Empress Nana, to whom all glory is due, and to whom all respect is due.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Give us a little introduction, Ras Jimmy, to all our listeners who are tuned in to Reggae Storm Radio. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the house that you represent.
Okay, so I was born in London and grew up as a normal child in London until about the age of 10. I attended church like everyone else, and I was an altar boy. But around the age of 10, I started to go through a transition. One of the things in the transition was the food. I just seemed to grow up with pork. for whatever reason, I don't know why, it was just something that was happening naturally inside of me. And a little after that, I started to attain music, reggae roots music. I didn't know what it was saying, and I didn't know the philosophy behind it. I didn't know I didn't have any idea about Haile Selassie at that time. I had no idea about Ethiopia. I had no idea about the great ancestry of our people, of the African people. And so the journey within I was spiritual in that sense, because something was just moving within I. At some stage later on, my mother remigrated to Guyana from where she was born and took me and my sister back. And that was around 1975. And thereabouts, I was able to meet older men than I who were Rastafarians. And through the connection of the music that I had and that I was able to share with them, they were able to explain to me what the music was that I was listening to. And so I became more versed in concept of Rastafari, and within my spiritual self, I began to understand why I felt things moving differently within I. Because I was a church boy, an English church boy as they call them, an altar boy, you wear the cassock, and you shake the incense and you go through this whole ritualistic thing in the church, but there was no feeling with it. There was no vibration. There was nothing moving within inside. And knowing that the growth comes from within was something that I only learned through Rastafari. So accepting the Black King and the supremacy and the anciency was important to I in my own journey in life.
Yes. Wow.
I currently work within empowerment and education of all youths, and with a specific focus on obviously improving the prospects of African heritage children worldwide.
Wonderful. That is very, very interesting. Thank you so much, Ras Jimmy Lines. We will definitely come right back around to you. Let's move right along to Errol, Mr. Errol Harvey. Now, welcome definitely to the panel. It is a pleasure, and thank you for the opportunity for giving me the chance to, moderate this wonderful discussion, Mr. Harvey.
Thank you very much, Madam Kambooster. Yeah, man, blessed greetings to each and everyone. Yes, I have to give thanks to the brethren and the panelists, Ras Chama and Ras Jimmy, and I Weapon and Ras Jabalani to throw in sometimes some technical difficulty being I control, Yeah. So, I give thanks again to the Sister Kambooster to bring us together for the unification of the house of Rastafari, and thanks to Wayne Lyrics to provide this platform, to see the unification of the house of Rastafari, which is more than all money one can put together and bring into the house of Rastafari, because right now the house is in a critical condition. And so, man, and my name is Errol Harvey, as he already introduced all of I. Born and grew in Jamaica, right? And I have been living in Germany for some time. And I am the founder of the Center of Jamaican Culture and Development, UG. Yes, and I want to extend to my team here, Ras Marcus, and Empress Imani, and Sister Jack, and some of sisters like Sister Davina and Jabba, and we have so much sister and brethren in our team that I can even call all of them in our team. Yes. Sister Valeria, bless up. very important system, you know, and yeah, man, I just see it every time.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much. In case you're just joining us, welcome to Reggae Storm Radio. Welcome to my Facebook and my Instagram peeps who's also locked into this great, important discussion that we're having. The Rise Now or Never Rastafarian Unification panel discussion. That is what we will be discussing this evening. We have one of our panelists who has not yet joined us because of some technical difficulties. He is actually in South Africa right now. So we're still waiting on Elder Javelani to join us. So as soon as he comes in, we will definitely introduce him or have him introduce himself to our listeners. All right, so we're still waiting on him. But, you know, the show must go on in the meantime, so it is with great pleasure to continue the show. Now, this is a great topic, unification. This is very, very important. Now, let's go right back to Raschama. How important is it for the Rastafarian unification when it comes on to the different houses?
Yeah, greetings. Well, it's like one hand can't clap, you know?
Right. You're right.
You know, no one is an island, no one stand alone. And for me, Rastafari is the way of life which I've willingly made a choice. You know, for I found salvation, which is not religion. And like the churches out there in different denominations, praising one Christ, but they're not unified. Same like I being a Bobo Shantuin, I got 12 child of my virgin, Bingy. We might have reasoning, smoothly get up. But we are family. Next year we share fruits. We share love, the Orthodox. So I personally, as a Rasta man, praising his Imperial Majesty and Christ Selassie the First, which is our Father, Daddy, Papa, Mama Earth and Testament and Divine, but within a perfect balance. I see every Rasta man as our brother, and most our kingdom is at hand for all who accept and receive. So we share with him. So as a Rasta man, as a musician, as an African, our music belongs to South Africa, Ethiopia going to my family, and Ghana. And it's always unification. So I personally, I live this unity. Being a Bobo, I don't say I'm a Bobo and it's a Bingy, we are all Rasta. So I live it. So it will be a joy which all of us know within the time revelation that we are living in now. Within Papa words, which he told us from around 1966, organize and centralize your brothers and sisters of one faith and Africa await its creator. So this is the liberty that I and I live. Even in Europe, we need Africans, and we're brothers and sisters, even with other nations, different class or creed. So within the house of Rastafari, Papa said his kingdom are many mansions, and I was forward to prepare a place for I and I, that where he is, I and I will be there also. So the unification starts within oneself, and I see myself as a part of the unity, even as Dennis Brown said, a chain is as smallest, weakest as one of the strongest link. So within the link, I and I just live and enhance it. It's not a easy road, different, the man's a clean hands and pure in heart. So my thing is, each one teach one is not a blame game, it's not a point finger, it's not a name calling, but what we're going to do now. And for the now, is either we're part of the problem, we are part of the solution. So we try to find the solution and live the solution, which is love, Mama Mika love, His Majesty love, Christ love, Marcus Garvey love, bring us together, the ancestral love, and we just live it. So step by step, we get in there. But for me, I see the liberty, the unity in myself, and I live it amongst my brothers and sisters of the Rasta family, humanitarian, people of different walks of life. And this is our far right, this is our Papa teacher. So we just live as Papa teacher.
Thank you. So you are all for all the houses coming together?
Yeah, in Papa Kingdom, it's many milestones, you know, but it's spread out, you know, so it's there for Physically, I'm the same place, that's the first, which is our Grand King, so, yeah, you root up in here, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, so, unity of the staff, now, yeah, I'm like, when I went to Ethiopia, 2018, you have the AARC, All African Rasta Council. All the houses of Rastafari, Universal, it was a beauty, Shashaman, you know. Every Rasta from every part of Africa, as a Rasta from Caribbean, and we come together through the EWF, and the EWF, which is Majesty, for I and as Rasta people, which the EWF is not really an oath, it's to organize all the oaths towards business, towards, because each oath is within the salvation, within the strength of the oaths. The EWF unify the oaths towards our race lives, repatriating in Mother Africa, and now we're here, or we're going to live and survive and unify and harmonize. So we get to do it step by step. So the unity, because we Rasta people live such unity. So the few chosen, we live and embrace and bring down the pretty prejudice and the politics, meds, and certain power struggle, and try to embrace the strength towards unification, even towards the younger generation, because right now it's very important for the younger generation, for the seniors, the elders that been trodden before my time, our time, and then I which embrace this track and living this track, and the legacy now which we are leaving for the youth, which is the unification within the different minds of Rastafari, which is brilliant, coming together within the community, within the homes, within the country, within Mother Africa, within everywhere we reside and where we are by. We find Zion everywhere we are at. Because although I'm in England, I'm not really living in the world like the beast. I find Rastafari, so I live Zion in my mind, and in my surrounding, and I live heaven. So sharing this within the Rastafari community, we get in there step by step, but it has to be done.
It has to be done. Wonderful.
So blessed is the Lord, brother, and the people who live within the Lord, the Rasta brothers and sisters, which embrace such love and do their part. So brother, brother that has been reasoning with us, I don't remember his name, but the Pearl tribe brother, he's focusing on the youth, strengthening the youths. So we as Rastafari children, we get instruction from Daddy, you know. So Daddy tell us what to do, and we just follow through and doing it, you know.
Right. Thank you so much, Rasta Charma, straight out of the United Kingdom. Welcome everybody. If you're just joining us, this is a great discussion. Please do not move the dial. We're about to move right along to Errol Harvey. But before we do that, I would just like to play a little part of this wonderful song by Direct Self. Into Reggae Song Radio, this is DJ Kambooster. This is the Rise Now or Never Rastafarian Unification Panel Discussion. Make sure you keep it locked right here on Reggae Song, alright? Mr. Errol Harvey, the next question goes right over to you. It's one aim, one destiny, right? One emperor, Haile Selassie. One is majesty. Why is it so hard for the unification to come about?
Mama Cam, that's a serious question.
Yes, a very serious question, sir.
Yes, ma'am. For real, indeed. Wow. You know, I think it's a war, Mama Cam, it's a war. And the war is against the helpfulness and the prosperity of His Imperial Majesty, that throne. And so when the Muslim and the Pope of Rome make war against the throne of Ethiopia, the Pope of Rome never satisfied with that defeat. So I think he would say to His Imperial Majesty, yes, you win the fight now, but the war is still prolonged. Right? So when the Pope look and see there is no other people in the world defend Africa and defend His Majesty like Rasta people. Nobody. Because if you check it, even some African people who live in the continent of Africa are true Rasta in Jamaica right, for them to get to know about His Imperial Majesty. Right? To show you how tense the Rasta people and how strict and how devoted the Rasta people is to His Imperial Majesty. So what we talk about now, when it comes to Rasta now, he try to inject some of his ingrafted people in the Rastafarian movement to dilute it. You know, and so if you check it, like, put it easy out there, there's a club. And in that club, we call it the Millionaire Club. Right? And in that club, the Pope cultivate, say, 100 person. And he say, you can go into the, you can go into the Rastafarian movement. And you go into the reggae. And you go into the World Federation. You got Bubba, you got 12 tribe. And I said, spread them out. Everything connected to Rastafari movement. You see? It's spread out these cultivated people. We look like I talk like I, and smoke marijuana with I. See? Yeah. To destroy the movement of Rastafari. And it's working. No one can say it's not working. No man can say it's not working because the momentum of Rastafari is not like in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And when you look on the reggae music, in the reggae music, it's the same. Certain spirituality and divineness and a certain consciousness in the reggae music. It's not there. It's not there. You know, I just said I read that the government of Jamaica have banned certain music. I read it. Why? Because, you see what I mean? Yes. Certain divineness in the reggae music itself. Because you can't separate Rasta from reggae music or Rasta from the Jamaican society in general. It's not possible. Right. So, the poor have to work very hard to get to this stage that even reggae music, look on reggae music itself, you know, Jamaican people generally don't love reggae music, you know.
You said they don't?
No!
Some do.
Maybe, I maybe I put it together with the government then, put it together the curriculum, the government of Jamaica do not love reggae music. Because I can remember when I was in Jamaica and we said we had a session you know, dance house, so we call it dance house because before they call it a sitting dance house now. See, right? Then when certain time in the night, like say 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, you will see a light come. Then we have street light and anything there, you know. See, you will see a light come. And if the man won't dance down, police are come. You know what I'm saying? And police will come mash it up and destroy a man, run down. I just today, this morning, one virgin I tell us, Rastaman from Chugania tell I say we are with Marcus Garvey celebration of our FM that some police will stop it. You know, see, Marcus Garvey birthday celebration. Police will stop it. Just to show the government itself do not love reggae music because reggae music can reveal is against injustice. So right there, so now you find yourself now with people working very hard to destroy the unity within the house of Rastafari because Rastafari unite, you know. A 12 and Bob and Biggie unite, you know. Jamaica will be a different place. And the other side of it, the government of Jamaica should support this movement, this unity of Rastafari, because it is the best interest of Jamaica. You see, and the other part of it again, I Rasta put Jamaica on the world map. You know, see, they must say rum. Jamaica rum put Jamaica on the world map. How can you, as a conscious person, want to say I rum represent you? No. You see what I mean? So, I Rastafari put Jamaica on the world map. No matter what a man ever said. You see? Right? So they do not want that, sister. They do not want the movement of Rastafari is strong. That's why, and some we do not even conscious that we are working against our own self, you know, because they what we call opportunity and ambition and money and bling and these things. Then you use it to dazzle our eyes, you know, and this kind of from the right step I like to make towards the betterment of Jamaica and the liberation of our people. Because no one can liberate black people in the Western world. No government, no post-colonial government don't have the power to do that. Right? Because they wanted to sign up to keep black people underneath the flag killer Queen of England. You know what I'm saying? You know, I know sugar. You know what I'm saying? You know that Buckingham Palace to keep the people in the darkness. You know what I'm saying? So Rastafari rise up to such cause and to fulfill such biblical suggestion. You know what I'm saying? So the people have to fight against Rastafari and keep the division. And I say again, it's working because right now, it's like the 12 tribe is diminishing.
You think so?
Right now we need right now, I'm gonna ask a virgin the other day. I'm gonna want to send a letter to inform the head of the bubble, the head of the 12 tribe, and the head of the bingy. And the virgin I say, who is the bingy? Can the bingy all split up? You know what I'm saying? There's no main headquarters to say, this is the bingy headquarters, this is the split up. Just as an example to show you, Babylon, is strong. Someone has a fireborn pope, but they don't know what him about. The pope is very strong. You know what I'm saying? Because it's working all the time. To see how strong it is, then come to the house of Rastafari and destroy it. But you know, done, we still there, so we have to just unite. If you are I and I, we die as a man, so many call on if you choose him. See? So I have to give thanks again to Elder Ras Jabulani, bless up my Lord. You know what I'm saying? You know, and Ras Jimmy and Ras Chama, you know, if you come forward, you know what I'm saying? And say, yes, no is no delay neither. We step forward and fulfill the work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, if I'm going to work, waited, the work of a fulfill. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I.
All right.
So I salute.
Thank you so much, Mr. Errol Harvey, for that one. Powerful. Now let us go ahead and welcome Elder Jabulani. We were waiting on him earlier. He just got a chance to come on, and we're very, very happy that you got a chance to join this beautiful panel discussion this evening. So Elder Jabulani, welcome to Reggae Song Radio. How are you doing this evening?
Rastafari, greetings. Yes, I'm on give thanks and eyes for the the invitation for this actual panel of discussion, and very important for I and I to really reason about unification, and not just reason, but practicalize it, because this is what is the greatest problem amongst I and I now, the division that Rastafari is really experiencing, whilst we have been the voice for unification all over the world. We are the most divided amongst ourselves, and that is very discouraging and disheartening amongst I and I, because it causing a lot of question as to where Rastafari is really going. And does Rastafari have the strength that it did when we're talking even 20 years ago? So, yes, give thanks for the invitation. Blessed.
You're most welcome, Elder. Now, for our listeners, just go ahead and just give us, a brief introduction of who you are, where you are currently residing right now. I get to understand that you actually started off in the 12 tribe house earlier, probably in the 70s. Just tell us a little bit about that transition to know where you are, which house you represent right now. And yes, just a brief description of who Elder Jabulani is for our listeners.
Born of Jamaican parents as well, born in Jamaica. Grew up in England still. And was, as a youth, was from we as young Rasta in the 70s, we formed what we call the Mata Fankanta youth movement. Now, at that time, we weren't really under influence of any particular house or mansion. Yes. We had various ones that we looked up to as our elders, from who would say them them time that he had elders who we used to call Rapid Rasta, Brother Man. Brother Man, the elders who would be more ex-Garvians, Howellites, and really functioning with the consciousness of where we said back to Africa. When we are talking about, repatriation, we're talking about liberation, for the true redemption of I and I as African people. Rastafari was the realization for I and I in that time, for I and I self as black people to stand firm on principles rather than just, looking alone at just being Pan-Africanist. We had now a king, a God that we could follow and identify with. And that was what Rastafari was to I and I. That in those days, various ones and ones as elders used to come forward, and we reason, we have the groundation, and we start to work towards what we was looking towards Africa for repatriation. The movement, what we did start, was basically was regarded as the first black self-help organization, because we had to even squat and take over a building and turn it into a quarters and set that as a center for I and Matafankanta in itself meant, come guard yourself, and we say against self-destruction. And that was the main motto that we used as youth that time. And we used to get enough problem from one community as Black, as Jamaican, Caribbeanites, because, you know, Rasta was not our parents, aunt, uncle, them, never one really associated with Rastafari at that time, because they were struggling to be accepted, right, first as Christian, and then as doing right within the sight of the government and society, whilst we now realizing who we are, being still have captured souls, trying to realize the true redemption now, because with the rise of Rastafari, we saw now our true redemption. And our focus was being Africa. So that was it at that time. Yes. Elders used to pass through when Godman did come forward and Prophet God come forward, come say I and I through the movement. We start to reason. Because at that time, we were actually helping various houses and mansions develop themselves, because we did set the example to show that, yes, we can get, we can take hold of our own destiny. We can, we squat, we did assist ones on one squat and take over 3 houses. There in Kennington and St. Agnes Place. That was where we set up Rasta House in one of the houses. We helped other ones-on-ones, then get building the 12 tribes of Israel now, set up the HQ, Kemshat, in Stoke Newington, and then in Streatham, and then in Manchester, in Hume, we'll get a building and set up the HQ for 12 tribes in Manchester. Yes. There, a lot of the members, some of them took to the influence. It was, I would say it was easier for ones to go into 12 tribe at that point, because the way Prophet God, coming from out of what I would say, Baptist, as a Baptist Christian preacher, then he learned a way to now work with the Rastafari teachings and His Majesty, and put it together to gather ones-on-ones who wasn't then under the what would say, liberal-minded Rasta, that could now rise, and didn't matter what part of society also them could work with. It didn't matter about whether you had dreadlocks or so, whether the one thing with 12 tribe, when I say it was so liberal, it didn't matter whether you eat meat or you're an italist also at that time. You know, it was just focusing on Rastafari, and at that time also repatriation in Africa.
Very, very interesting. Thank you so much, Elder Jabulani. Now, Russ, Jimmy Lyons, I want to ask you, where would you say we are today in terms of the unification as a movement generally?
Well, where we are today, generally, in terms of the unification, is right where we are now in this panel.
Yes.
I and I are addressing it actively. We have seen the necessity for activity and movement towards unifying I and I properly, correctly, and moving on a program that shows the unification of I and I. So we are fully aware of the difficulties and challenges that are here, but we are emboldened to face and address them with the strength and gravity that has been given to us and shown to us in example by His Imperial Majesty.
Yes, yes. Ras Sharma, the same question. I would like to hear your opinion or your stand on that one. Where do you think we are today in terms of the unification as a movement generally?
Yeah, in the function of the art is a work in progress, you know?
Yes.
Now, in the prophecy shows itself, you know, really unified, to the God in this time of Gideon, you know? And so the speech of His Majesty, which he organized and centralized, was a time around 66, and within my view, Mr. England has been a part of our forward from Africa to the Western Hemisphere. And what the general said, Ras Patrick, and bless up all of the seniors. As a Rasta man, I have to pay honor and tribute. So I and I before I and I, because I and I with the love and the harmony and the fullness, wise mind of Daddy's Imperial Majesty within the strong fullness and liberty, liberate I and I, the inborn and truth, the inner standing, the understand far right within. Right. Love that has been shown to I and I, that I and I embrace this faith. I mean, this is the love which I and I share to each and every one. And especially with the children. Yesterday was my goddaughter, you know, Rasta sister, you know, she and her king on her God asked me my queen to be goddaughter. The first day when I was there, Daddy rolling thunder. So one day the thunder roll, lightning, rain fall. You know, we do give thanks and knowing that the powers of the Creator is here watching through the earth. So the unit to begin with I and I individual and within, because I harmonize with Zion in terms of wise minority I was standing. Obviously the race is not for the swift, which is wise mind, neither for the strong, knowledge of the true experience of life, but the I was standing, the inner standing, so I do it to the end. So every Rasta man, Rasta woman, the conscious mind, God people, we live this unification, so now it's work in progress because you price of the week and we have to go to the day of harvest. In the general assay which I see, Baphomet, even in the music, Baphomet of a lot of false prophet, antichrist, false kings, harlots, which trying to bring down Rastafari liberty, and I see it happening, so it's like the real just recognize the real and keep it real, each one teach one, we harmonize through the powers of Creator. So as I said before, I see myself as a part of this solution because the testimony of far right in our life is great and it's real and it's true. So love brings us together, so we get in there, but it's a steep hill climb, but that's the trad of Zion, the narrow and the rocky part. So we do give thanks to such heart, mind, soul, clean and spiritual to embrace such fullness, and step by step, the chosen few gonna make the difference. And one from a family, two from a city. So step by step we get in there. We need the strength. So last year I know from each of us individually, and even the houses, you know, the unification, modest tolerance. So we get in there step by step, and it's very important for the younger generation, you know. Too many illusion and
politics and too much corruption are going on right now. Jamaica needs strength, Africa needs strength, the wheat needs strength, the earth needs strength, the earth go through the new world order. I feel the word that Rastafari still the book of life are fulfilled. And the prophecy are fulfilled. So it's like the 10 wise and the 10 foolish. So the 10 wise are going to unify this time. And who foolish, I'm not telling them that they're going to be foolish still. So I see it as a self-save judgment or a self-destruction. So a nice Rastafari. So the king show love. So we live such love. Mama can show love. So step by step, we get in there, you know?
Love that last trauma. You said it's definitely a work in progress. And I'm sure Mr. Errol Harvey will definitely agree with you. It's a work in progress. It's getting there. Slowly but surely, it's getting there.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Harvey, what do you think in terms of, do you think that they need to work, we need to work harder as a movement, especially in Jamaica when it comes down to, you know, this whole Rastafarian movement, that you came up with this brilliant idea of the Rise Now and Never, you know, panel discussion. And as the CEO and the founder of the panel, of the NGO, Center of Jamaica Culture and Development, I would like to ask you that question. How did you just come up with something like this that you needed so urgently, you know, to be discussed, to be talked about on the radio?
Yeah, you know, sister, when you look around I and I, see, and I can see clearly that something not function right, not going in the right direction. See, and the house of Rastafari does not belong to one individual, you know, and say the other way around. You see, if I try to reach the dingy house, or have something to the dingy house, I call a virgin and say, "More and talk to the virgin at the dingy house." You know, say to that man or that man or that man. Say, at the head, everything at them first come up. And I think at the same thing in the 12 tribe, I think at the same thing in the bubble, by the bubble. See, and at the same time, these leaders, see, they should be the response to in full control of the house of Rastafari. See, and what I'm seeing going on in the house of Rastafari, it make me wonder and give me that drive force to do something. You know what I'm saying? Because these leaders not doing nothing, because it should be them calling for a panel like this, the unification of Rastafari, and I don't see them doing that. So I wonder, what can be done? You know, I ask myself, what can be done? So I come up with this now and say, yeah, right now, we cannot just say unity, you know, because when in the past, when I took up in the house of Rastafari, I used some Rasta virgin, I said, unity, we must unite. And you say, yes, as a Jew, you know, we must unite. And when you start uniting them and the Rasta them are unite, in the name of Rasta them are unite, and we are doing something together for a strong purpose, and we want to reach a goal. No. He might say we must come and work for them and their family, unite for them family, you know, for their wife and people, you know, see, have so Rasta man slave for them, you know what I'm saying? Yeah? So I want to take that as an example and say, when we talk about unity now, to bring the house of Rastafari and Reggae and the bubble, we have to have a goal. A goal, yes. What we going to unite around, like you have a two football team a play, you know, each side a play to score that goal up and the next score down there. So, you know, what is the unity? What can we use as a mechanism to unite the house of Rastafari, 12 tribe, Bob and Bing? So, I come up with this National Rastafarian Holy Holiday 1 week long in Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? And then you say all of the Rasta house come together. Saying, and that week, no Rasta work. You see, we will come and celebrate the movement of Rastafari. You know, something we can bind us together. You know, see it. And I said, we have to tell the Baba man, say, listen, man, you have to go live like what the third child live, you know. And the third child, they go live like what the big live. No, man, because we can't tell you how you to praise your God, you know. And how you want to praise your God, you know. As Rast Chama said, saying, you have many mountains in the house of Rastafari. Saying, I have many gates. The big man said, many gates. You know what I'm saying? You know? So if you are 12 tribes and you are Bobo and you are Bingy, when you all come together, saying, then you still are living with how you try to curb and try to, who you want to try. You know what I'm saying? But we are united that 1 week, my virgin. And when that 1 week come up, you know, we unite and commune together and give praises and prayers and stuff like this. And when you go back to your Bobo hill, you go back to your Bingy camp, and you know what I say? You know? And that love there, you go back with that love and joy within you. See? And that is a step what we can use. See? To bring us together. And secondly again, this holiday will bring a lot of pilgrims to Jamaica. See, we're talking about income, because tourism and Jamaican tap income, you know, the government tap income, you know, tourism, you know. And we see what reggae music, Bob Marley, Reggae Sunsplash did in those days. So much tourists come to Jamaica. But you can't think if we have a Rastafari Holy Holiday. You know much in South Africa alone, are 5 million Rasta people. See, just South Africa alone, you know, Africa have around 54 or 55 countries. Imagine, just Africa alone, and we're talking about South America, North America, and the Caribbean, and the rest of the world. You see me here? So imagine how much people will be coming to Jamaica to celebrate that Holy Week. See? So we are but we, the Rasta people, have to make sure that the government not turn our movement into a tourism and take all of the income for themselves alone. See? Because they already destroyed reggae music, which Rasta should have, see, as an income to the house of Rastafari. See? And marijuana now, because there's nobody in the world get abused to marijuana like Rasta people. See? And now the government take it over. You know, saying, and Rasta become a slave to the government with reggae music and marijuana. So we know, we'll make sure, say, when this pilgrim movement starts, the amount of money we're going to generate, say, it must go into the house of Rastafari to open up a national Rastafari national bank, develop bank, that you can use. When they rise up in the house of Rastafari, they can go to the bank and if they have an idea, they can have a loan and be independent, not dependent on the government. And when they go to the government, they work them out and job to them and stuff like that. You know, saying run them away. And when they come to school, we will build our own school because you have too much Rasta teacher. But here still you don't have a school, Rasta school curriculum. You know what I'm saying? We have so much doctors, but still you can't find a Rasta hospital. So these things, the bank will set up and will provide funds to these things. But we have to centralize ourselves, as the people Majesty said. You see, organize ourselves. So I think this platform, our project, our movement, what we start now, saying, can shine a light on those things when what it take place. Because this is not talking unite, because this uniting thing, unite, back to Africa, it's a talk about how much 50, 60 years now. Right. See? And we don't know about pretty talk and decorated speech and these things. We talk about work. You know, see, we want to fulfill a thing. And we're not talking about no next generation, we're talking about in our lifestyle. No is no. You know the type of name Mama Cam?
No. Right, no.
And never. No and never. And you can put it in the other way around to either we unite now or stop talking about unity.
Yes. Great points, Mr. Harvey. Don't hold on to that point right now. Let me just welcome everybody who is just joining us. If you're just joining us on Instagram, welcome. Or if you're on Facebook, or if you're listening on Reggae Storm Radio, this is such a great discussion that we are having right now with our 4 panelists and myself as the moderator, and the Rise Now or Never Rastafarian Unification panel discussion. This is so important. And so I just don't want you to move the dial. We'll be right back. Just want to play a little part of this song from Garnet Silk. Just hold on. Don't move the dial. Share the live if you have not already shared the live. Words of Garnet Silk. Welcome to Reggae Storm Radio. This is DJ Kambooster. If you're just joining us, this is a great panel discussion that we are definitely having this evening. Now, Ras Jimmy Lyons, you are actually in the UK. You are an educator. Now, do you think, being an educator, do you think that, especially in the United Kingdom, because that's where you're based, that is where you were actually born, are your pupils, are they reacting to, the teachings of the Rastafarians right now? How would you describe that?
Well, that's an interesting in the UK. What I can say is that many of the words and the concepts that Rastafari work with and live by are observant amongst the youth. Colloquial speech or slang is specifically slanted towards many words and many vibrations that Rastafarians would use. There's also a growing aspect amongst some youths, I should point out, for more knowledge into the aspects of what they're eating, what they're consuming, and what's actually occurring on a societal level, what's happening around them, the politics, the movement of the world, worldwide oppression, personal integrity, personal growth, personal autonomy, and the value of life in other places. Because many of the youth that are in England now, presently, let's say what they call Generation Z, children who are around 19, they have been
school and related and congregated with other youths who have parents and ancestors from many parts of the world. England obviously is a strong connection to Jamaica because of I won't use the word Windrush, but from the Caribbean entity and the Jamaican families that have come here over the last 60 years, the contribution to the UK, the strength of the culture has predominated, is very strong and vibrant in young people, how they flex and some of the attitudes. I must stress that with that, there are negative aspects as well, which we all know about. But in our call for unity and in our striving to pursue it, you understand that there are negatives. We cannot.
Yes.
But we have to look at what we positively can activate and move forward with.
Yes. Wonderful.
So that would be my aspect. They're aware of Rastafarian and they're aware of I power. We are not as numerous as we were in the 1970s or even the 80s. But as a Rastaman out here in the UK, I still feel the current of the people looking towards us with hope in their eyes. And we have to continue to provide the example and sample that was set for I by the King.
Thank you. Wonderful. Now, Ras Chama, you are an artist. Now, going around, you do different shows in different areas. Up until recently, yesterday, you had a show. Now, tell us about the reception that you're getting, the Rasta movement, the Rasta community. What is the reception right now in this day and age?
Creation love a father, yeah, people of Rastafarian, Rastafarian is the love and light of the world, Daddy is owned by modesty. And this journey of the music, power within self, the inner strength, I give my words within Zion from the principal order Melchizedek to Christ Negus, to Marcus Garvey, literature, the fullness, the authority of His Majesty, the command in demand, Mama Earth in desolate place to provide food for I and I, the love of Rastafarian community within God. Despite the politics, the power struggle, Rastafarian's love, and this is what I have embraced within this liberty. So, right now, His Majesty give me a thing was a lava splash, but in the Caribbean, we're volcanic. In Jamaica and East Kingston, when the sun catch Warwick Hill, the limestone, then sometimes some part of the hill just catch a fire, naturally.
Wow.
Because the whole Caribbean is volcanic.
Yeah.
And when, within the music, the journey, within a year playing Garnet Silk, I know Dara Congo within the vibe of one with Garnet Silk. When Garnet Silk, whatever happening, brothers around and bad vibration and them are building house and bad mind and envy and covetousness in the thing. We don't go on when Garnet Silk loses life, it's like Rastafari powers, when them feel and get it a one Rasta, Rastafari powers just inaccurate. All of Jamaica, and within that as Bob said, there's a natural mystic blowing through the air. I rise within that fullness of timing. So here now, like the past shows that I've been doing, I live in Lava, we have the vibes now in England when we are do show in a Jamaica way, like how the right man bring me forward in Switzerland when we are performing the energy of the people, they might lick the fence, they might lick the wall, everybody get the powers, the spirit of Rastafari alive in I and I. But here in England, you have some Rasta movement like 1st of August. Since I've been here, I've been nearly a decade, it don't come up to a decade yet, but the 1st of August, Emancipation, Rasta people gather And we march in the streets from Brixton to the Parliament House, Westminster. And it's always powerful and let's move up and poor and the Africa, the Jamaica from there, England, and the children of them gathering there. 7th of August, Marcus Garvey, Earthstrong in our Seven Sisters, you have his library, you have Marcus Garvey, library in Seven Sisters, you know, been to Mark, Fairfield, where His Majesty used to reside within the time of the Empress Mennonite. Yes. The world progress at the time. In the first time I tried there, I tried in a like the basement to a 4-line brother, and in my passage at time, you hear certain fullness and then one change certain fullness. But I asked I to give me the spirit of each lion on the back of you, because I do inspire. I was one of the rest of them, I don't really compromise, because with truth, when I give my life to Rastafari, I'm like Lord servant. So when the king tell me to deliver the message, like Jordan and say, yo, go down and deliver them, I said I'm going to tell them stop doing what them are doing, one of them, you know. Within time, more water, this time, man, show the rainbow, and show say lava, you know, so. I only give me a pause musically through the liberty, through the river, the seniors, the ancestors. But we can't make this down right now. I was say the first, and like Tupac, the brother says, like one man against the world. So really and truly here in England, I feel like as a Rasta youth within the time, there are 70 babies, and his time about no, I just live in lava and the people might take on to the current of Rastafarian. So I see within the revelation, the conquering Lord of tribe of Judah when the book of the 7th seal and broke all the seals. So the 666, the blind them, deaf them, dumb them. So right now it's like we're just ready for the Rastafari works. Yeah. It's like the powers were embedded within I and I, Africa waited creator. Now it's the time and it's the Armageddon time. So we're up full and upright and Rastafari fire blaze. Another thing I rise, straight nation talk truth, where it active, the people love the vibration within the liberty and the movement. So I up a mighty black nation and all nation of people within Rastafari faith and within the reading of His Majesty, the man said we have to visualize as being something that we have never been before. So that means that if you have a 1,000, you know, so you have to go 10,000, you know, size 4,000, David slew 10,000. Great David, greater sons, you know, and the powers of the Holy Trinity, blessed is the one that unify with it and work with it from Papa. It's unstoppable. So right now, within the vigor and the spirit, in the Armageddon, when we are go over there, so we're up and govern and living lava, so the general Ryanita, when them train the princess, you know, Princess and Zinga, you know, and I hear such through the media, and it's like a fire just, the volcano erupt when we just speak my voice, and some just say it's so, when we have the judgment, you know, to talk truth, you know. Now I believe the spirit of Bob Marley and Peter touch also, because Peter touch more time in the heart of Bill Clark. I listen to someone interview me with my song where in my rap from Babylon. So in this time, from that time, the fire was light. I'm just to tell them, so the fire was them light. In Africa, the fire got the matches were them strike in Africa. Because I tell them that in a Geneva conference, we try to Switzerland and the World Bank, so I know that Daddy send me in the earth as a sharpshooter, a bright student, we're mature, knowing the knowledge, doing his work, without a go. Right now we're up and government to the house of Rastafari get ready, and great things to be done, and man say one shot chase 10,000. So big up all of the generals again, and the interview, big up your lovely self for carrying through this message, and all the people are listening out there, we have work to do. So we're up and governed, so I personally are for a kingdom, and Father I use it, and I'm willing to be the Lord's servant, the King's son, doing his work tremendously. I know that we're going to be zealous for our God and King, so everything up and governed, up and thankful, and on the same way. But the lion I roar, God said, so the lion will roar, jungle tremble. So right now, Babylon fall, they all like dead already. So no matter what Babylon I try, they don't know which kingdom I talk about, they must say, I'm over. So they also Rastafari get together within spiritual, material, economical, you know, the fullness of Rastafarian. We get in there, so and that's the fire and light and keep the hope and the faith and all the patriarchs, the seniors, the priests, the prophets, the kings, the queens, were within the house of Rastafari. That was our time to conquer the tribe of Judah, so we are ready, you know. So we give thanks to the King of Kings, the Almighty, who give us such strength, you know. We do give thanks.
Thank you so much for that, Rastafarian. Reggae artist in the United Kingdom. Wonderful. Love the vibe. If you're just joining us, welcome to Reggae Storm Radio. This is a great, important movement. It's more than just a discussion. As Errol Harvey said, it's not just talk. We're not just going to talk today and leave it as is. Now, Mr. Harvey, you have been doing a lot for Jamaica. You are based actually in Germany. Now you're trying to build a health center in Jamaica. You're doing the Zulu language foundation. You are trying to unify the Rastafarians. You have been doing so much. One question I need to ask you. What has been the support from the government of Jamaica towards most of these movements that you have in mind and that you're working on?
Yeah, no form of support up to now, sister. And, you know, generally we should get support from the government because everything what I are trying to accomplish is in the benefit of the Jamaican people, and the government and the Prime Minister and the Cabinet are there to serve the people of Jamaica. Right? But anyway, we cannot say give up. You know, we have to just go and do what we have to do, and maybe later on they will come on board. You know, because as His Imperial Majesty said, a good over evil. Right? And we should not forget that the government is there to work for the colonial our masters called in Buckingham Palace. The work for those who sit in a Buckingham Palace are the Queen gone. You know, right? So, and Buckingham Palace are the head of Jamaican government. Regardless of them say Jamaica is a democratic country, it's not. Jamaica is a dictator country ruled by one person. You see, and you know, run by Liberton people because Liberton people have to swear to the head of the government that runs Jamaica, to Buckingham Palace. That's why we have the Governor General. So Rastafari at the house rise up now to make Jamaica become a true democratic country, because you have to have opposition side become a democratic. As how they set it, you know what I'm saying? So Rastafari rise up to make Jamaica become a democratic country, sis. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, we have to know our work. Rastafari have to know our work and know that as to fulfill the democratic way of life, the Rastafari rise up to deliver the people out of the hands of the government of Jamaica, who is the Queen of England, or the government of England, the colonial government. See, that Rastafari this time is Moses. In those days was Moses one man. But in this time, at the house of Rastafari is Moses to rise up to deliver the children out of the hands of Pharaoh, right? And teach, educate them, re-educate them. See, be their shield and buckler, right? Be their comfort, right? And that is the main duty of the house of Rastafari. But the government, back to the point now, right? In all these things, so what is in this line of engrafted people in Swan locks or Dana locks, you know, and tell them, give them their mission to destroy the house of Rastafari. You see me, really? And it's working, but I know have to stand up strong and know say, no. And even those one, even the Pope himself, I've got to start coming place to Rastafari, because we see it. We see the Buckingham Palace people pick them up from Jamaica and jump on Naya Bingy jump. Take that as an example. You see what I mean? Right? So, but we have to stay a course. And also, brothers and sisters, we have a work to do, you know. And nobody knows that we do it, and we have to do it. You know what I'm saying? You know, we have to do it. See? Yes. Build school, build hospital, open up a develop bank. You know, that Rastafari, because look now, sister, okay, sometimes you want to help these people who are different, like who say them are the leader of Rasta, the head of Rasta, if they're blind or what. We see them when they put on concert, the reggae artists then jump up on stage, Selassie, right? And when they make the money, they bring it over to the Minister of Education or donate to the school. Right? And when Monday morning come, we see a Rasta man, people can't go to the school. That's not good. You see? Yeah. And check it again. As I was saying to my brother, you know, look in Ethiopia. Rastafari is Imperial Majesty. See? They have been the man so much that they even call him God. Right? And that man is from Ethiopia. Check this out. But we can't understand. And we need some really explanation about this. Why is it that the tsunami will take place in Japan? See? Fukushima will never call it. See? The earthquake tsunami we see Rasta come together, the reggae artists will come together and sing 2 songs to donate to Japan, because in Japan reggae music is a big business. Right? Right? But, and giant media, newspaper, BBC, RJR, all over the world. And they are so educated because we have internet now, they can even learn more about what happening in the world. Showing that children, people in Ethiopia dying for hunger. Right? And you can't find one reggae song what these reggae artists there sing and donate to help those people in Ethiopia who dying for hunger. Yeah. You can't find one, and if the rest out there, we know one. Please send to it, because we can't find on the internet. But it's easy when you can find those two where they come together to donate to Japan, because in Japan, you know, they might just make it look like weird, brother. Because Japan is a business, not just some business people, not in the interest of Rastafari, or in the interest of the oath of Rastafari. You know, always using the name Selassie and dress up in a wool with gold and green, and wool with gold and green, bookmark and something like a figure. It's no disrespect, you know. But what these things get to my head, I mean, when we can't understand, you know, so we can't tell one of you, you know. But when I say, what's a Selassie, saying Rastafari, if you show some kind of regard to the man, you know what I'm saying? Not only just call the name, I use the name as a slogan. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Saying, show some form of love. It's like about love, show that love to the place where the man born and grow there. You know what I'm saying? Not use the money if you make money, and when you make the money, you use the money for different things. You know, sister, these are things going on. Right now, this panel is very important. Yes. You know, so I'm going to say, if any Rastafari out there, saying any Rastafari out there, because this panel is for every month. It's not only one time session. Right. It's every month, the same time, this panel will take place. And the house of Rastafari does not belong to one individual. The house of Rastafari belongs to all of us. Yeah. Same. And this panel, again, thank to Sister Kambooster and Brother Wayne Lyrics to provide this platform to see the unification of Rastafari. This panel is belong to the house of Rastafari. So every Rasta man out there, and Rasta woman and children, grandma and grandpa, this panel is for you. And see to it that you get on the panel whenever month you choose. You know, you have to do contact Kambooster RILRD, say, and tell us which month you want to be on the panel. To share your talk, or we can build the house of Rastafari. You know, say, because the things is getting out of hand. Say, and we have to come to the acknowledgement that we are keep up foolishness around here in the name of His Imperial Majesty. You know, say?
Yes. I'm so happy you mentioned that, Mr. Harvey, and you have extended the invitation to, other Rastafarians. So I know we have thousands listening right now to Reggae Storm Radio, and we have a few on Instagram and Facebook is also watching. So opening this invitation, this is a very good look, because we want to hear from others also what can be done, to bring about the unification that the House of Rastafarian is, indeed lacking right now, or needs more improvement on. So thank you so much for, putting that out there right now. Now, Mr. Ras Jabulani over there in South Africa, tell us a little bit more about the Rastafarian movement over there in South Africa. We've heard about what's happening in Jamaica in terms of, the government, how they're supporting or not supporting, but give us some brief insights about South Africa for our listeners right now.
Well, within South Africa, Southern Africa and a whole, I've been living in Southern Africa. It's now 40 years.
Wow.
Now, with Rastafari, is reggae music played a very important role where it came to liberation on the continent. Right?
Yes.
I know this personally because I was also part of with ones and ones from in the 70s, raising funds to assist some of the liberation movements of the continent. It was even one of the reasons why I encouraged I to even go more into Southern Africa to put my works then as an artist, as a qualified social worker and so forth, right?
Yes.
When I came forward, most ones, first place I learned was in Kenya. Then I took on a voluntary work. I was in Swaziland. That is where now I get the name Jabulani from the works I did. Now, when I landed in Swaziland, ones didn't really know Rastafari and the levels. When they say out with the first thing, they thought I was a Sangoma or a Nyanga.
Yes.
Now, that is like your traditional healer.
Yes.
Right? Now, music is a healer. Right? Spiritual, physical vibration of music is a natural healer.
Right.
So when we embrace reggae music now, through South Africa now, I actually was one that after the show we did with Peter Tosh in Swaziland in '84, Lucky Dube and his cousin, who was his manager, came to help them to make Lucky Dube basically a clone of Peter Tosh. A clone, right?
Yes.
Because the record company in Gallo Records wanted, they couldn't sign Peter, but the popularity that Peter had in South Africa it prompted them to change Lucky Dube from playing Madonna music into being a reggae star. They had to build him as the reggae star to represent because you had in South Africa, because of the apartheid system, even amongst the African people, they had more ones who were more inclined to support and love Peter Tosh music.
Yes, yes.
The mixed blood people, they called colored people, and then your rights and your crossover with your African black, right? Bob Marley. But they had I had a brother called Dr. Victor that was representing for the Bob Marley. If you say, oh, this is how them still so I was then helping out to build ones of reggae music within South Africa. This was from between 84, 85, going up. In 85, after I actually work and build up certain artists build up, I was doing other works with various other artists to the point of producing an album even for Bishop Tutu.
Yes.
When he did receive the Nobel Peace Prize. And they wanted to do an album called Give Praise Where Praise Was Deserved. So I did the arrangement and everything for that album.
Yes.
After that, I was also banned from the country, from South Africa, as a cultural activist. Now, from there I was in Botswana, where again with reggae music. Then I actually set up the first cultural society in the University of Botswana, called Loshalaba.
Yes.
From there I left, following year I was now in Zimbabwe, where I became a permanent resident in Zimbabwe. Now, from there, that's where now we started to even rise Rastafari more stronger, but more under Nyabingi, because once was more inclined to know the traditional way of Rastafari, when it's called the drumming and the chanting was directly what ones and ones could gravitate to. Right. Even though reggae music was strong, within Zimbabwe, when Bob come, no other artist has ever come to Africa, no other reggae artist has come to Africa and came to Africa in the way that Bob Marley came to Africa, by even chartering 2 aeroplanes. One for carry equipment, the other PA, backline, everything that he needed, and the other one carried the artists, the wheelers, the crew, and everything, right? And he paid for that, right? Everything, Bob did pay for that. Bob even leave his equipment in Africa after the PA what him come with was left in Zimbabwe. Because Bob told her that he want to actually buy land in Zimbabwe, where he was planning to set up Tough Gang, a wing of Tough Gang in Zimbabwe. Yes. Right? Right. Again, this is where we talk the business now, where Bob was introducing also, well, as a businessman, he was showing out what music, the reggae music, the industry could do for the country and even the continent on a whole, right? In my mind, that is why they had to murder Bob before he could return again to Africa. The following year, that is when they murdered him, right? Now, after the unbanning, after they released Mandela in '92. That's when they asked for the exiles to return to South Africa. The ANC and the PAC, they called and asked I to come forward, right? Because they say I was banned because you see I did set up also a project in Soweto in '85 as well, and was what he was doing. I was banned as a cultural activist, right? Because we was using reggae music. I was also working with traditional music as a drummer, and I also teaching dance and drama as well, right? I worked with a group called Amampondo, right, from the Eastern Cape and from Cape Town. Most of them was living in Cape Town, the Pondos. Now, we then, on my return, and that is where now Bingi started to rise stronger, although 12 tribes was there, but not the 12 tribes of Israel under Prophet Yah. One's through reggae music, what they learned through reggae music, and then reading from various books, and then the scriptures embrace 12 tribes. Yes. And we'll find enough Rasta on the continent embrace 12 tribes and call themselves Levi, Judah, Ray, and so forth, right? But they do it on a more organic, more groundation manner, right? You will find enough 12 tribe man on the continent. They are more italists, more down to earth Rastaman, rootical, and reggae music was like their gospel. You see what I'm saying, right? They held reggae music to a passion. Reggae music also has created the unifying language that any ghetto you go to across the continent, from you, them see as Rasta, Patois, what them learn from reggae, has unified all the ghettos throughout the continent, where reggae music has created that influence. You will find the war vets would profess to say the music that encouraged them to fight the liberation was reggae music. This is one of the main reasons why you will find that it's not so easy for reggae artists to come into the continent and just move just freely. Our reggae music was also, and still in many of the countries, it's not played on mainstream radio because the liberators, we are now forced to be liberating ourselves from the very liberators that were using reggae music to encourage themselves, to liberate themselves from colonial rule. Yes. You see where I'm going? Yes. Now in South Africa now, and in Zimbabwe, we, the Rastafarian community, are now part part and parcel within the constitution of the country. Wherefore we are recognized as a bona fide community with our own way of life, liberty, culture, tradition, and so forth. That is recognized and constitution, right, within the country. Yes. It is still, Rasta is still under certain persecution because of the fear of what Rasta and the influence that Rasta has on the people, and especially even the music, because I had a program on TV in Zimbabwe after 3 years running, being we win the award as the best program, as the best presenter, and so forth. The program was stopped. Wow. And the reason for that was that we don't want the Rasta to be too popular in Zimbabwe. Wow. This is during the time of Mugabe, you know. Right? And basically, the ones who was mostly behind that was actually the churches. What did then happen was the churches took control of most of the venues where reggae music particularly was being played, and so forth, and music per se, right? And kind of put a block because we had sound system around, we had bands running, everything regular throughout the nightclub, venues, community centers and things. And they created an industry where now in Zimbabwe, you have Zim Dance Hall, right? Which is an industry within itself, which has created employment on various ways and so, and it's the influence of Rastafari that has brought that to the point where you see now even within South Africa, Southern Africa, reggae music has created that self-reliance. It has helped ones and ones to even find their way to edify themselves to the point where we have in Southern Africa, South Africa, we have advocates, lawyers who are advocates, some who was even judge. We have lecturers and university lecturers as Rasta standing strong, heads of faculties and so forth. We have Rasta in all aspects of even in government. This is why now certain things are moving to a certain level. There's a paradigm change where Rastafari is now on the continent to the point where now when we had the first All Africa Rastafari gathering in Ethiopia, this was in 2017. Yes. From there we would found the Rastafari Continental Council. Right? Yeah. Again, the AARG was to create trade amongst the Rastafari community and the Pan-African community on the continent in ways to then envision building our own market economy and promoting brand-made products made by Rastafari and Pan-Africans on the continent. So that these are the kind of strides that we are making. Right now, the Rastafari community in South Africa is spearheading the way forward on the bill, the ganja bill through Parliament, right? It is painstaking, but this is how Rastafari is rising. One to say politically, but it is for the defense and the positive movements of the Rastafari community, where the community is rising stronger. It is helping all the, because we are a community within communities, right? So ones and ones look up to Rastafari for their way forward to make a better way for the country and the continent. So we have a lot of still the influence from Jamaica, right? Where the divisions have arisen within the houses and mansions within Jamaica, it creates that triple effect on the continent, right? So we have to get things right in Jamaica, so that ones will have that strength again for repatriation. And when we start with repatriation, we know that not everyone from the Caribbean, America and so forth will return, but once we can start trading amongst ourselves, creating our own market economy amongst ourselves as a Rastafari community globally, then we will have a strength to even then. We don't even have to talk to government. Government will talk to us. They will not even be talking. They will be begging us for assistance in our development. Right? So it is on us to really move with the strength of the teachings of His Imperial Majesty. Right? Because it's that brought us together with the teachings of Marcus for reliance. As I will say, right, is Marcus, right, himself, when we say, if we don't come, when we say you, it just miswords, but basically, right? This is where Rastafari, the influence of Rastafari reggae music has done for now the rise of the Pan-African movement and the Rastafari on the continent. Blessed Lord.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So much going on in South Africa. You heard it from Ras Javelani himself. This is such a great conversation, a great panel discussion. And as Mr. Harvey mentioned, it's not just a one-time thing. We have to do this every month. Because as the minutes go by, you know, it's getting even more interesting. And, you know, we could talk on and on. But, you know, we have to save some of it because it's not just words. We have to put in some real great action into this. Our listeners who are tuned into Reggae Storm Radio, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in, and for those on Instagram and Facebook who, you know, is enjoying the conversation and learning so much from our great panelists. I just want to tell you, thank you. Now we'll move over to Ras Jimmy Lyons. In closing, what would you like to say in closing to our listeners right now, in terms of this whole panel discussion, in terms of the movement, in terms of the unification? We want to hear from you, Ras Jimmy.
Well, thank you, sister. What I would like to say is I'd like to thank my co-panelists for their fulsome contributions. I would like to thank the listeners for tuning in. And I would like to say that Rastafari is forever. Rastafari is rising and will continue to rise, now and forever. The never part, we're not really dealing with. We are going forward. We are facing the challenges that the world has, and we are facing them as Rastafari. We have an ordained set way of life. That is the way of life and not death. So I and I will continue. His Imperial Majesty has shown us that unity is the only acceptable goal. So I and I know that this will be fulfilled. I would also like to say that we need to continue to embrace the lessons from the past and move them into the forward. There was a record in 1985 from the UK that was towards the famine appeal in Ethiopia at the time when there was live aid that was happening. They were ignoring black people's contributions to that aspect. But a group of reggae artists in England, by the name of the British Reggae Famine Appeal platform, made a song called Let's Make Africa Green Again. Dennis Brown was on that song, and many artists got together. In unity, it was a community-based unification initiative, started in the ghetto amongst our people, amongst people of African descent, amongst Rastafari, and amongst reggae artists in the UK. So we've been able to mount these kinds of initiatives before, and we need to continue to do those things.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ras Jimmy Lyons, for that. And Ras Charma, what would you like to say to the world, everyone who's listening right now, in regards to the whole topic, unification?
Yes, Papa said 1,000 years in society is like a evening in it first, you know?
Yes.
And the man say, a journey of 1,000 miles begin with the first step, you know?
Yes, yes.
And in that palace in Addis Ababa, the man said, with faith, courage, and a just cause. The man said, in this 20th to 21st century, you know, David will still be Goliath, you know? So, as I say, I do give thanks to being a part of this reasoning. It's very hopeful. Being happy and strength upon the journey. 2004, I was in South Africa and some past shows, so we had time to work. I was supposed to go to Swaziland, we never found to go there. Learn a lot of the journey of Rastafari. And we never getting weary, you know. And as Marcus said, up unite the black nation, you know, we shall accomplish our thing. The man said, nation without no original. The truth of our history and trees without roots. So within the whole fullness of Rastafari teaching, love Mama Earth, Father time, Mother Earth, all things within what was given. So we do give thanks for receiving the bless of all the seniors, you know, the citizens, you know, Rastafari, mother that they will be fed, make it be close, signal, shade, protected, infants, care for. We have work to do, you know. Now we're approaching the mark of the beast, you know. We will see the Creator prophecy are fulfilling in this revelation. So once the conqueror and tribe of Judah shall break all the chain and give an eye the picture again and again. So blessed be the tide of abiding all together in Christ, creation and love. So His Majesty done our being everything, and we do give thanks to this moment of truth. Bless up all of the generals them and the panel. Bless up yourself also. Bless up everyone who giving a listening here. You know, strength, hope, courage, dominion. It shall be done. So work in progress, and Ras Patrick do give thanks to eye to the eye, and you know, the senior have to teach the youths, you know, and I, as a youth, I learned from the senior, now I become a man. So I have to teach the youth, so it's a never-ending saga, and we're getting there step by step, and we do give thanks to this moment of truth, and our glory be to His Imperial Majesty Emperor Selassie the First, Empress Mary, and Mother Earth coronation forwarding shortly, you know, but now them Halloween, I want to tell all the parents them and the life we got to change the scenario of Babylon. Don't let our children be greedy. Don't let our children knock at any stranger doors. We want them to treat on the trick, them can't trick with, for treat with, you know, sweets, cavity for the food, you know. There's a lot of pedophile out there, you know, even in the Babylonian system, hiding in the church and state. Sorry, the church and state, where they have their judge and their lawyers to cover their evil deeds. We see the revelation of the art of England, how much children to molest. Some parents out there, let us burn out the Halloween and not support the satanic evil and prepare to be the coronation of Papa and Mama. Bless and love the house of Rastafari, and let's get it together. I got it a long time, and all the time is approaching. So we do give thanks to this gathering. And I could share each one here, share the vibration of the family, the community, in Jamaica, Africa, all around.
Just time is not just the time and the devil lose and creator wins, so I'm not giving clean hands and pure heart to do it. Rastafarian. That's it.
Thank you so much for strong, powerful. Now, Mr. Errol Harvey, the floor is yours. Your closing arguments for now. This is not just a one-time thing. And before you even say that, I just want to say, thanks once again for this opportunity, for the voices to be heard, and the work needs to start, and let's get it going. Go ahead, Mr. Harvey.
Yeah, man, I can say I just feel happy, real happy, to know that I agree to make something start. And for you make the first step, then you know that it will accomplish. Yes, so I just give thanks to each and every one, same, all of the panelists, same, and the sister Kambooster, and all the listeners and everyone who come together to make this thing happen. Same, and Ras Jimmy, give thanks and greeting to the enlightenment, to the information, because I was searching on the internet, how I can find more reggae song tribute to Ethiopia, and it was a real burn-hearted thing for me, See? Yeah, and so I researched again for that, and if you have the link, you could send me that link, because, I would like to have that song. See, so give thanks again, my brother, to the enlightenment. Yes, and next thing again, that we have to revert one thing, as Elder Ras Jabalan said. You see, when it comes to reggae music and Rastafari, saying, we have to know that anything these people say or do, the world follow. Right. That's why we have to be careful in the reggae music when the man must sing out and how them act, how them walk, and how them talk, how them drink, how them do. Because the world will follow you. Because like the biblical suggestion that God did give the Israelites salvation to spread to the world. God never called the world and give them salvation. He called the Israelites and said to spread salvation to the world. See? Just like in Jamaica now, he rise up the house of Rastafari and say, bring protection. Because the world cannot be at ease if Africa not free. And Africa can't free if Jamaica not free. And Jamaica cannot free if Rastafari not free. And this situation that Rastafari himself in, this turmoil, you can't produce freedom. So the whole world is upon the Rastafari shoulder. Rastafari have to acknowledge in this time the duty that the house of Rastafari was formed to fulfill. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say that it's a great joy to see I sit amongst brethren and sisters talking about the renovation of the house of Rastafari. It's a great honor. It's a joy. To know that we in the house of Rastafari and talk about and move towards the betterment. Not only in the house of Rastafari, but as I said in general, Rastafari and Moses in this time. So the house of Rastafari, Jamaicans going to benefit from the unity, saying of Rastafari. So the government himself of Jamaica, regardless of the Rasta, they can't do it with Rastafari. See, and I want to mention one thing again, I saw on the net, that's my own personal opinion, everyone has their own opinion. But I saw there's a lady in Jamaica called Babsy Grains. Miss Babsy Grains, or Honorable Babsy Grains. I wouldn't want what's her name. Right? So signed a memorandum with His Imperial Majesty grandson to put His Imperial Majesty statue in Eros Park. Now, when I saw that, I said to myself, did this gentleman confront the house of Rastafari to do that? Is the house of Rastafari allow him to do that? Because no, it's going behind family thing, you know. This man is Rastafari got in tribulation to that man, you know. So that man can just leave from Ethiopia and come to Jamaica and say, I'm going to say a memorandum with the government of Jamaica who hate Rasta and going to put His Imperial Majesty statue amongst a man like Buster and those guys who say shoot and kill, who say shoot Rasta, and Shara, they say shoot and ask question Rasta. And then again, them tell me, say, show me your phone and we can tell you who you are. So how can His Imperial Majesty statue to go in an Eros circle with these guys? I would prefer to see His Imperial Majesty statue up a pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And this man cannot, is not respect, you know, but it's more on my personal view. This man has to confront the Rastafari house. The Bob of the 12 tribe and Naya Benji, before we can sign memorandum to put His Imperial Majesty. If a family thing are doing it, then fine. We can understand that. See? But we who make Jamaica know about that man, you have to understand our faith and our feelings and the persecution where we go through. Because at the same bus, at the same, that man, when Buster say, that man will never come to Jamaica and into the dead body, and then, you know, say, that until, you know, say, so we have to understand the persecution what our foreparents, the elder Rastaman go through. And I am here. Feeling those suffering with those elder will go through that I can know about Rastafari, that some man know, some politician know, I'm going to get with some language man, say, and destroy those blood, sweat and tears of our ancestors. You see, it's very painful to see I personally. You see what I mean? Other British, they have other views, you know, but that is my view. See, so we have to also to unite and the government know when it comes to His Imperial Majesty. See, we don't just say His Imperial Majesty to make money.
Right.
You see? Yeah. So again, anyone who wants to contact I, my number is on the flyer. And if you don't sign the flyer, my number is 49-1574-20-5478. Right? And you can contact Sister Kambooster. Rastaman, this panel and Rasta Sister and Rasta Lady, everyone. This panel is for you. Just call us. Tell Sister Kambooster you want to be on the panel, and you will be on the panel to share your thought like each and every one of us today. Thanks for your listening, and thanks again, Sister Kambooster, for the unity to bring us together, and thank Wayne again to provide us this platform to fulfill the unification of the house of Rastafari. Blessed, one love.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank everyone on the panel, everyone who was tuned in, and I hope we all learned something from this discussion, getting a clearer understanding of the Rastafari movement. This has been a great discussion. I've learned so much, and I know so have you. And as Mr. Harvey said, it's not just now, today, but this will be an ongoing movement. Once more, thank our panelists. Thank you so much for sharing. Thanks so much for taking the time out, out of your busy schedule. You're all over the world, South Africa, the UK, Germany, and, wanted to share your ideas and everything that you could contribute to this discussion. It has been a great evening, and I want to say thank to everybody that's locked into Reggae Storm Radio right now, everyone on Facebook and Instagram. Wayne Lyrics, much love and respect, my brother, all the panelists. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful night. And until we meet again next month, the same place, the same time, it has been a great show. Good evening.
Sister Cam. Sister Cam.
Yes. Yes.
Sister Cam.
Yes, sir.
Can I suggest something?
Yes, go ahead.
Because I have a problem to find. We want to inform the head of the church tribe and the head of the Bobo and the head of the Naya Bingi. So I said we want to have any address and an email and the person who is in charge of this organization. Please contact us.
Okay.
We will really thankful for your support, understanding and support.
Yes.
You just send it to me, Elalavia, or Sister Cam.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. One night.
You're most welcome. One love.
It's confident for Buju done for me, you know, even I myself, which is to provide a source of strength is music. Vibes start at such speed, you know. Babylon, all the fights, still the soul just be stand resolute, you know.
What a great discussion.
Oh.
What a great movement. What great education and knowledge. Thanks to all our panelists. Thanks to all our listeners. Until we meet again, this is DJ Kambooster. This is Reggae Storm Radio. You have a wonderful evening.
Stand firm, my brother, have no fear. Babylon, they think the end is near. Jah is only making your way clear. You shall rise and lead the words like clear. So I sing this song for you to hear. When I say, here you are now, Marcus Garvey has been there before. And there you sleep now, Mandela, he's left there before.
This is Great Ones by Eyesight. This is a Kambooster Seven Figures production. And this is how we say good evening on this beautiful Monday evening.
So many more.